Welcome, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Leah Avant, and I am moderating the event. Before we begin today's presentation, please know that the presentation materials will be available on the ADA30 virtual events page at www.michigan.gov/ADA30. During the presentation, please utilize the chat box and put questions and comments in there. We highly encourage everyone to utilize this feature so our team can answer the questions. If time does not allow and all questions and comments cannot be answered, follow-up will be provided after the training. Resources and contact information will be sent to all registered attendees following the training. Zoom offers information regarding accessible features of their platform at website https://zoom.us/accessibility or at phone number 1-888-799-9666. If you are unable to access the chat with Assistive Technology during the presentation, please utilize the resource information provided following the training to address your questions. So once again, good morning, and thank you for joining us today as we continue with the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity series in October to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the ADA. Today's session will feature workforce development. The session will include information on programs operated under the OneStop delivery system, which are required to comply with the non-discrimination and equal opportunity provisions of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. These requirements prohibit exclusion of individuals from participation in or receiving any benefit from program or activity operated through the OneStop delivery system on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, or political affiliation or belief. Part of the regulations require physical accessibility for individuals with disabilities, as well as the programmatic accessibility through the use of various assistive technologies. The presentation will share some of the requirements, how the requirements are enforced, and what our Michigan Works partners are doing to help ensure accessibility for all participants at the 96 service center locations throughout the state of Michigan. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce Matt Schilling, who will begin the presentation for workforce development.
Thank you, Leah. Good morning, and thank you for taking part in today's ADA30 presentation series. My name is Matt Schilling, and I am the state-level Equal Opportunity Officer for the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, Employment and Training Division. During today's presentation, we'll discuss the requirements established by the United States Department of Labor to ensure both physical and programmatic accessibility at our American job centers and how we ensure these requirements are being met. One of the main purposes of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA, is to increase access to and opportunities for employment, education, training, and support services in the labor market, particularly to those individuals with barriers to employment. Through the establishment of a one-stop delivery system, multiple partners work together to offer various programs and services at a central location. These offices are referred to as an American Job Center or a one-stop service center. Currently, there are 96 one-stop centers throughout the state of Michigan, which are operated by our 16 local workforce development boards, also known as Michigan Works Agencies or MWAs. Each MWA is responsible for the operation and oversight of the one-stop service centers within their geographical region. WIOA Section 121 establishes the required partners and programs for the OneStop delivery system and provides a list of additional partners which may also operate within the centers with approval of the local Workforce Development Board. This list includes Wagner-Pizer Act, adult education and literacy activities, programs authorized under the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, the Older Americans Act of 1965, Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Act of 2006, activities authorized under the Trade Act of 1974, employment and training activities under the Community Services Block Grant Act, programs by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, the State Unemployment Insurance Agency, the Second Chance Act, and the Social Security Act. WIOA Section 188 establishes the non-discrimination administrative requirements for the operation of the one-stop delivery system for programs and assistance. To further detail the requirements within WIOA Section 188, the United States Department of Labor, USDOL, Civil Rights Center, CRC, established 29 Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, Part 38, the implementation of the non-discrimination and equal opportunity provisions of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. WIOA Section 188 and 29 CFR Part 38 prohibit the exclusion of an individual from participation in or in connection with any program or activity funded or otherwise financially assisted in whole or in part of WIOA Title I on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, political affiliation or belief, citizenship status, or retaliation. These requirements apply to all programs and activities that are part of the one-stop delivery system and that are operated by one-stop partners listed in Section 121 of WIOA. For purposes of today's presentation, we will be focusing on how the state of Michigan and the local Michigan Works agencies provide both physical and programmatic accessibility to ensure compliance with the non-discrimination and equal opportunity requirements to prevent discrimination based on disability. WIOA, USDOL, CRC, and 29 CFR Part 38 all put an emphasis on Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, which ensures opportunities for individuals with disabilities. Section 504 covers reasonable accommodations for beneficiaries and employees with disabilities, physical and programmatic accessibility, and effective communication with people who are hard of hearing, deaf, blind, or visually impaired. During today's presentation, we'll be focusing on the areas of physical and programmatic accessibility. The Americans with Disabilities Act standards of 2010 established the physical accessibility requirements for state, governmental, and commercial facilities, as well as places of public accommodation. Although the requirements are for buildings built or renovated 1991 to present, 29 CFR Part 38 requires complete physical accessibility, regardless of which year the building was constructed. What this means is that although many of our service centers may have been built prior to 1991, they must still ensure complete and total accessibility for individuals with disabilities. Each service center location is required to have a self-certification accessibility checklist completed. This is part of our annual Equal Opportunity Monitoring Review. The checklist evaluates each service center location for compliance with the following areas. Parking, making sure there are a required number of accessible spaces, ensuring these accessible spaces are the proper dimensions, are properly located on accessible routes, have the necessary signage, and have the correct slope and clearance. Walks and sidewalks. The checklist asks questions regarding the width, the slope, the stability of surfaces, changes in elevation, and clearance near doorways. pedestrian ramps, and curb ramps. Again, we measure the width, the slope, the stability of the surface. We ensure handrails or guardrails are installed where appropriate, and we ensure there's proper clear space at doorways and when the ramps change direction. Hallways, doors, and doorways. We measure the hallway widths, the door openings, the clearance space, the force required to open doors, and ensure that all hardware is designed to allow for ease of operating. Passenger elevators. If applicable, we ensure the elevators have the necessary opening and open floor space. We ensure that they're located on accessible routes and have the proper visual and audible signals, which are properly located, and that all call buttons are designated by Braille. Restrooms. Again, we measure the door opening, the clear space in common restroom spaces, as well as the stalls. We ensure that sinks, mirrors, dispensers, and toilets are all proper height, and that all hardware for toilets, stall doors, sinks, faucets, etc., are easily operable and installed at the appropriate heights. Lastly, we review general accessibility requirements, such as the height of desk or office furniture. We ensure that all alarms meet the minimum sound and visual requirements. We ensure public water fountains are easily operable and are at the appropriate height. We ensure that proper signage is posted in various forms, either symbols, alpha print, or Braille, and that many other items such as public phones, protruding objects, or televisions have closed captioning capabilities. In order to ensure programmatic accessibility for all individuals, each service center must provide reasonable accommodations such as assistive technology and physical location of services. Reasonable modifications, such as change in the physical layout or the structure of specific programs. Accessible communications, such as having information translated into Braille, providing sign language interpreters, or closed captioning, and providing appropriate auxiliary aids or services at no cost to the individual. Next, I would like to share some examples of the assistive technology that is offered throughout the 96 service centers to ensure each individual has access to the various programs offered. Assistive technology is any device, software, or equipment that helps people work around challenges. The specific type of assistive technology can vary from person to person based on their disability and their personal preference. For this reason, there is not a specific list of required assistive technology that each service center must have. Instead, each MWA is responsible for ensuring that their centers are properly equipped to support their specific clientele. This allows each MWA to provide the assistive technology they determine is necessary. Some of the most commonly used assistive technology across the state includes software such as Zoom Text, JAWS, voice amplifiers for telephones, or interpretypes. Office equipment such as workstations with adjustable height, enhanced keyboards, both in size and color contrast, trackball mouse, and headphones. Communication assistance through sign language interpreters, the availability of TDD, TTY, and translating information into Braille or making available in large print format. Each MWA also has a variety of partners, such as MRS and BSBP, in addition to contracted interpreter and translation services to assist individuals. It's my pleasure to be joined today with two of the leading equal opportunity advocates in the state. Both Carrie and Kristin are going to share with you what accessibility looks like in their MWA service centers and what they are doing to ensure access for all within their regions. First, let me introduce Carrie Rosengana. Carrie has worked at Capital Area Michigan Works since 2007, where she started her career working in the front lines as a career coach and currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer and has been the Equal Opportunity Officer since 2015. Carrie is a graduate of Michigan State University, go Green, and currently serves on several community coalitions and boards in her region, including as the board chair of the Michigan Education Diversity Center. Carrie also serves as an advisory member of the Lansing Community College Coalition for College and Career Readiness and the City of Lansing Mayor's Racial Justice and Equity Alliance. Carrie?
Thank you so much for having me, and it's my pleasure to be able to speak with you about how we ensure accessibility in our American Job Centers. Capital Area Michigan Works operates in the Tri-County regions of Ingham, Eaton, and Clayton counties, where we have 3 American Job Centers that ensure that we are equitably providing services to all customers as they enter in and seek assistance. Physical accessibility, as Matt said, is one of the priority areas that we really ensure we are considering as we are looking at our centers. Examples of that are we ensure that we have computer workstations that are adjustable so that individuals who are entering into our centers have the ability to use those workstations so that they can meet the needs that they have. We also have technology accessibility, ensuring that we have all of our technology systems in place to ensure that technology is not a barrier for individuals that are seeking services through our centers. We have an accessible approach and entrance for all of our centers, meaning that we have considered from the point that someone comes into our driveway until they are entering our system in our service centers so that they can make sure that they are able to come in free of barriers, meaning we have remote entries so that individuals can push the doors to open, and we do have ramps to ensure that individuals who are using a wheelchair may have the ability to enter our system without barrier as well. We also ensure that all of our resources and services are available in an equitable fashion. We have services that are available in a variety of resources and languages, and we have services that are available to address anyone's needs as they are coming in. Access to public restrooms is also critically important. So when we made sure that we were doing those checklists that Matt mentioned, we took the time to ensure that we were measuring all of our restrooms for accessibility functionality, ensuring that all of the restrooms had labels that were in Braille as well as in English, and we ensure that we have the space for individuals to be entering those spaces free of barriers. We also have access to all of the spaces within our center. We have 2 of our centers that are multi-floor. So we have elevators within those to ensure that individuals are able to access all of the rooms in our center easily. We also have Braille room labels for all of our shared spaces for conference rooms. Access to other areas such as water fountains, public restrooms, and break rooms are also available free of barrier for anyone to be able to access. We ensure that anyone coming into our center has the physical accessibility to access the resources that they may need within our rooms. Moving into program accessibility, equal opportunity policies and procedures, including a reasonable accommodations process, provide us with structure to ensure equitable program delivery across all of our programs and service centers. All of our subrecipients, who are the ones who are delivering programs, have equal opportunity policies included with contact agreements to ensure that they understand and are able to provide services to all individuals. Our program subrecipients also each designate an equal opportunity liaison who directly works alongside the Capital Area Michigan Works Equal Opportunity Officer, or myself, to ensure that they understand the commitment to diversity that we have within our center and accessibility. Within our programs, we have a number of program partners who are either co-located in our American Job Centers or available by referral. Those include Michigan Rehabilitative Services, the Bureau of Services for Blind Persons, Adult Education and Literacy Programs, and New American Program Partners, including in our region, St. Vincent Catholic Charities. Our program services are monitored internally for equal opportunity compliance each year, ensuring that our commitment to diversity and accessibility within all of our programs is adhered to for all of the sub-recipients that work within our programs to deliver those services. In looking at assistive technology, we have a number of ways in which we've ensured that we have the resources available to meet the needs of all customers. As stated before, we have adjustable workstations that can be utilized by an individual who may be using a wheelchair or may need an ability to adjust the workstation for their own individual needs. We have large font keyboards available. We have a document magnifier. We have JAWS software available in all 3 of our American Job Centers, as well as trackball mouse, headphones, a TDD TYY phone system, and we also have print and braille materials available upon request. For us, we know the importance of ensuring that we have this assistive technology available can ensure that all customers are comfortable entering into our service center to get those services that they need to be successful in finding and gaining employment success through our programs. Language services are also available in all 3 of our centers. Ingham County specifically has one of the largest number of new American referrals and re-engagement within our state of Michigan. So we ensure that we meet the needs of our community for having that diverse language. We have resource materials and notices available in multiple languages and posted clearly for individuals to find in the main center of our resource room. We have interpretation services available virtually, as well as in person and via phone interpretation. We went through a request for proposal process to ensure that the phone interpretation services that we secured would be the best fit to meet the needs of the customers that we are seeing coming into our American Job Centers or reaching out to us via phone or email for service. We also have a new, can you go back for a moment, please? We have a New Americans Navigator staff member. This staff member is working directly with our New Americans and immigrant populations to ensure that those community resource links are available and referrals can be made easily. We have frontline staff who are fluent in multiple languages, including French, Spanish, Arabic, Farsi, Pashto, and Urdu. And we also have English as second language adult education linkage directly within our American Job Centers. One of our regional adult education providers is housed directly in each of our American Job Centers to ensure that those connections to resources, whether that be education or English language learning, are available for individuals directly within our centers. Training resources are critically important to ensure that our customers are receiving the supports that they need and that our staff are trained to ensure that they understand and are able to confidently engage with customers. The Equal Opportunity Officer, me, coordinates training annually that all staff are required to attend. We also invite partner staff who are housed within our centers to participate in these trainings as well. Some of our past training topics examples are disability awareness training. Michigan Rehabilitative Services provided this training to all of our staff to ensure that they had a clear understanding of how best to make sure that we were providing services to our customers. We've had unconscious bias training, which is both implicit bias as well as explicit bias training. We've conducted workplace discrimination and harassment, as well as social media discrimination and harassment training, to ensure that all customers are aware of the various things and challenges that may be at play for the customers who are entering into our center so that we can be prepared to interact with all customers in an effective way. We also ensure that all of our resource room staff members, as well as program staff members who are engaging out on the resource room, understand and are trained in utilizing assistive technology for all of the different American Job Centers that we operate. Our Equal Opportunity Officer, myself, attends regional and statewide training to bring back information to our system that is critical to ensure that diversity, equity, and inclusion remains at the forefront of program design. Our Equal Opportunity, myself, as stated, I'm also a member of our Michigan Diversity Education Center, which provides statewide training to a variety of organizations aimed around diversity and equity. And I'm a member of the City of Lansing's Racial Justice and Equity Alliance to ensure that we're aware of the concerns that are addressing the immediate needs of our customers so that we can ensure that there are supports in place within our American Job Centers to help all customers. I'll turn it back over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Carrie. Now let me welcome Kristin Wenzel. Kristin spent the first 20 years of her career in the private sector in progressive sales and leadership positions before joining Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works in 2007. She's held progressive leadership roles within the organization and was appointed Chief Operations Officer and EO Officer in 2015. Kristin is a graduate of Saginaw Valley State University and serves on multiple regional advisory groups and boards, including Vice Chair of the United Way of Bay County and Chair of Bay Future Incorporated. Kristin?
Thank you, Matt. Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works serves 5 counties in central Michigan that includes Saginaw, Midland, Bay, Gratiot, and Isabella County. And we've put a great deal of emphasis in our region in ensuring that our locations are both physically accessible and programmatically accessible. In 2017, we partnered with Michigan Rehabilitation Services to have them conduct an accessibility assessment of all 5 of our American Job Centers. The assessment encompassed 2 different components: our physical and architectural site accessibility, and our computer workstation and technology accessibility. The assessment was conducted by an experienced registered occupational therapist as well as a licensed vocational rehabilitation counselor. The assessment was following ADA standards for accessible design and ADAA guidelines, and focused on our accessible approach and entrance at all of our locations, access to services, access to public restrooms, and access to other items such as water fountains, public telephones, and break rooms. Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works has also spent a great deal of time, much like Capital Area Michigan Works has, in ensuring that we have equitable access to our programs that we deliver. And as such, we've developed equal opportunity policies for staff to provide guidance and framework so that all of our programs are delivered in an accessible manner. Wherever possible, our staff jointly case manage with our partners, those individuals that are accessing our programs, so that to the participant, the service they receive at Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works is seamless. If they have 2 meetings within our service center, and one is with the Michigan Works career manager, and the other is with a Michigan Rehabilitation Services career counselor, that's seamless to the participant. They just know that they're receiving great service from Great Lakes Bay Michigan Works. And we're fortunate to have several partners that are co-located within our American Job Centers. We have Michigan Rehabilitation Services, Adult Education Services, and Literacy Services that are all available in our American Job Centers. Every year, we take steps to make sure that all of our programs and services are monitored internally for EO compliance. We also have invested in some assistive services and technology to make sure that everyone who needs access to the services in our region has equitable access. As such, we've contracted with interpretation services that are available on demand, in whatever form makes sense for the individual, whether it's in person, by phone, or over the computer. And our TDD TTY phone system is in the process of being updated. Currently, each site has its own standalone system and they're not integrated together. Our new system is going to support connectivity across all 5 of our locations and be fully compliant with the TDD and TTY accessibility guidelines. Each of our locations has a dedicated phone with voice amplifiers available for those that need it. And at each location, we also have enhanced workstations to assist people with low vision or blindness. These workstations include large font keyboards, document magnifiers, text-to-speech software, a scanner for viewing or hearing printed materials with universal reader capability, a trackball mouse, headphones with disposable ear covers, and large print and braille materials are available upon request. Like Carrie mentioned, we place heavy emphasis on equal opportunity training for staff, and they're required to attend EO training annually to make sure that their skills are current and top of mind. As an EO officer, I also regularly attend training and provide training to staff on both a scheduled and as needed basis. And as EO officer, I'm accessible to both staff and participants as appropriate to ensure program accessibility should my services be requested. So Matt, I'll turn it back over to you. Great.
Thank you, Kristin, and thank you, Carrie, again for joining us today and sharing with us the amazing work you both have done in your regions. We've reached the live Q&A section of our presentation today. So please enter any questions you may have into the chat box and we will try to get them answered.
This is Leah, the moderator. At this time, I am not seeing any questions. So on that note, we can go ahead and move forward. You guys did an excellent job. And I'm sorry, just as I said that, one question did come through. So I will go ahead and ask that question. The question is, what are some of the accessibility issues encountered in your training centers?
Good question. I think in terms of physical accessibility, I would say that the most common issues that we see are that some landlords like to push back when they're told that they have to make a necessary renovation or update to the leased space. These items are usually discovered during our accessibility review checklist completion and then brought up to the landlord to resolve. I would say that the most common area of noncompliance are usually the restrooms. In terms of programmatic accessibility, I think the main issue across the state is just making sure that all of your staff are aware of the assistive technology that's available and how to use that equipment to help the individuals. Many of these items in the service centers may be seldomly used, so it's important to ensure that all staff are properly trained and reminded of the assistance available and how to use that equipment.
Thank you. I do have a second question, which is there a time frame for providing notice in order to receive large print materials?
So the federal regulations just say that all accommodations or assistance must be provided in a timely manner. They don't specify a certain day or number of days or hours. It's kind of just viewed as long as that individual can still partake in the program or services that they're trying to obtain without any significant delay, then that's considered timely from the regulation standpoint.
Thank you. Question number 3, if an individual feels they are being discriminated against because of their disability, what do you recommend that they do?
Good. So if an individual ever feels they're being denied access or being discriminated against based on any of the protected groups that we mentioned earlier, including disability, they have the right to file a discrimination complaint with their local Michigan Works Agency Equal Opportunity Officer. This information is posted in each of the 96 service centers on how to file a complaint, and each individual is also given information on the equal opportunity requirements and how to file a discrimination complaint when they begin the onboarding process at each MWA.
Okay. We do have another question. It says, is there a document or something where the public can view to see if their Michigan Works office has completed accessibility training for the year and what topics were covered? It seems like larger barriers are more attitudinal, especially with mental illness or difficult behaviors. They're told that participants are told that they maybe need to go to MRS, as Michigan Works cannot serve them.
Okay. There's not a state level tracking document or any sort of tool where we keep track of what exactly the trainings were about or what trainings were received by certain staff. Part of the annual monitoring that I complete at each Michigan Works agency, we do discuss trainings that were training that each equal opportunity officer partook throughout the year. So while there's not an exact document that you could go out and search, that information is reviewed and discussed with all 16 Michigan Works EO officers throughout the year. So when hot topics or common problems pop up throughout the state, we also hold an annual training that I give to all 16 EO officers, and I try to incorporate as many of those items as we can to make sure that all of us are on the same page as far as what we need to be doing to make sure everyone's getting proper services.
Thank you, Matt. There are no more questions in the Q&A chat box. So at this time, we will move forward. Thank you for all of the questions. So again, thank you for attending today. Please consider joining us for upcoming events. Also, please note that registration is required to attend, and you can register at www.michigan.gov/ADA30. Additionally, if you missed any of the past events, you can also view the videos and resources there. So for our upcoming events on October 15th, we have MISHDA. October 22nd, will be workers' compensation. October 29th will be MEDC and NEOSHA. So thank you to our panelists for providing their expertise during today's session. We'd also like to thank the Department of Labor and Economic Development. A special thank you to our ASL interpreters, Toy Bogan and Bethany James. Today's virtual session and captioning was graciously coordinated by Annette Blau. So once again, thank you for attending today's presentation. We have provided contact information for today's presenters. As a reminder, additional resources will be sent to the registered participants following this presentation. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.